Welcome to the Echo Driving School channel. We're now going to be doing a route which is titled Pollards Hill Test Route. So coming out the test centre, we're going to be turning left. So again, as I've said previously in my previous videos, when you're coming out the test centre, make sure you give a left signal to come out from your bay and you stay towards the fence on the left. Coming out the test centre is 10 miles an hour up to the gates, and then after that it's your normal speed applies here. Generally speaking, you're looking no more than 20 miles an hour. There is going to be a lot of industrial vehicles down on this route. It's like a cul-de-sac that you're coming out from. Now, at the end of the road, the examiners will say, I would like you to turn left at the end of this road. So MSPSL routine, mirror, signal, position your vehicle because you're going left, so position left, and then into first gear. Now coming out the actual road from the test center, it is a blind junction and you have to look peep and creep to get a good view of the road without causing any issues to the cars that you're joining. So there's a little gap coming up now which I'm just taking. This is a 30-mile limit now. As I've said in previous videos, it used to be a 40. This is a 30-mile speed limit now, so make sure your speed is no more than 30 miles an hour. Now, the independent driving that usually happens for the Pollards Hill route would generally entitled, they might say, can you follow the signs for Pollards Hill please? Now Pollards Hill is right at the traffic lights. Sometimes the sign is not always visible because it's covered by tree, leaves and so forth. But generally speaking, do this route with your instructor and you will see your instructor guiding you through where the sign can be viewed. So yeah, again, I'm just in a little bit of traffic. We've got a car in front. I'm leaving the nice gap that I always tell people to leave, tyres and tarmac from the car in front when you're following in traffic, and the 2-second rule applies when you're obviously following the car where the speed is above crawling speeds. As we go along here, you won't see no sign just yet. The sign is a bit further ahead. We've just got an ambulance coming behind us, so I'm checking my center mirror, left mirror, and moving over to the left. Remember, the left mirror is very important because I am straddling the cycle lane. Now I'm checking my right mirror and then moving back into my normal driving position, which is about 1 meter from the curb, center of my lane where there is only one lane. I've got my handbrake up again and I'm just waiting in this little bit of traffic that we have. When you're in traffic, it's always good to check your side mirrors so that you are aware of your sides and you don't miss any cyclists or motorcyclists. Remember that Mitcham test route, you're sharing with motorcycles doing their motorcycle test, so therefore it's very, very important for you to look out for each other so that you avoid any kind of issues with cyclists or motorcyclists. So again, we are waiting to turn right. There is a bus coming towards us with a cyclist, so the bus is holding back. Just a point for any cyclist users, just like the rule applies where you should not use your mobile phones and drive, you should not ride and cycle at the same time. So the sign for Pollards Hill is on my left hand side. It's saying Pollards Hill is on the right at the traffic lights. So I'm checking my center mirror, my right mirror, and giving a right signal. Now remember here, do not cross the line like this car behind me is doing. He's trying to go into the right lane. You are not allowed to go and cross the line in any way to turn right here. You have to stay within your lane, and until it fits, not even fits is not the right word, until you can see that your lane is clear without you crossing the line, you must not cross your own line here. So the car in front of me it's a little bit straddling onto my lane. So I've obviously held back, I've given my signal, and I'm going to move when the car in front of me decides to move. So checking my right mirror, just wary of the car behind me, checking my center mirror and slowly moving forward, but at all times maintaining my lane. Very, very important for you guys to maintain your lane here. Don't just follow the other road users blindly. It's not always the case that other road users are actually doing the correct legal procedure. Just waiting here. I think our lights have just turned green, so checking mirror, side ones again, and making small progress. As we're going along here, the left hand side usually going to be red, whereas we've got a filter light. Now here, make sure you can take, like, I'm just going to go through an amber. It was too late for me to actually stop there, so therefore I've decided to actually go, but my speed was fast enough for me to make it. So remember, if you're approaching an amber light and you've already crossed the stop light, and if it's safer for you to take that turn, then you should do so rather than braking hard and stopping. However, if you're coming up to an amber light and you haven't crossed the stop line yet, the solid white line, you should anticipate the lights and you should stop before it, and that is the correct procedure to actually do if you have to do an amber light, and that's the only instance where you would. Now, the next sign the examiner could ask you to follow would be Streatham Vale, and it says Streatham Vale and Pollards Hill in front of me on the sign. I don't know if it's visible in the camera, but it is in front of me. So again, center mirror, left mirror, give a left signal. On my right, it's quite blind, but at the same time I'm going to roll the car in quick glances and take the turn. Then at the roundabout, the examiner will say Streatham Vale please, which is a right turn. So center right mirror, give a right signal. If there are no cars on your right, then you can go in one go. Their car just turned right, so that gives me a little opening, and I'm going to take the turn. Now as we come along here, this generally is a 2-lane road without any road marking. So check your left mirror and position yourself on the left going ahead. The lights have just turned amber, so note this time I waited at the lights because it was safer, and the legal requirement is I need to stop for amber lights if I haven't already crossed the line yet. As we go past this route, remember, if you are the lead vehicle, you need to make sure you are on the left hand side when you're going ahead, because if you take up 2 lanes, then that will be a fault because you are preventing other cars from turning. As we're waiting over here, I've got my handbrake on. I'm just looking and scanning the road, waiting for the amber and green light to go before I proceed. Just a point of reminder, check your both mirrors and your center one before you proceed. So over here we're going to make progress, and the examiner said continue, follow the sign for Streatham Vale and Pollards Hill. So that's what I'm doing. This road that I'm on is a 30-mile limit, but because it's a humped road, you're not going to really get full speeds of up to 30 here. You're going to probably do about 25, 26 max. For the hump, you should be either second or third gear, depends on the situation that you're going through. So make sure that you don't get too close to parked vehicles on the left. Remember what hatch markings mean. You can use them if the left hand side is obviously narrow and you have to keep your meter from the curb or the parked cars, so therefore move over to the right a bit more so you can get a better idea of what to do. Now, the final sign that is ahead is covered by, again, a tree. So the sign would usually say that Pollards Hill is on the right hand side at the traffic light and Streatham Vale is on the left. So I would like to turn right, so center, right mirror, give a right signal, make progress here, and then obviously wait for the red light. Note how my position is more towards the right, but I haven't crossed the line. I'm within my lane, waiting for the traffic. As when you're waiting here, look out for the traffic on the left. There could be a motorcyclist or a cyclist weaving in and out of traffic as you're going here. Also, this route is a bus route, so sometimes you might get big vehicles and you have to adjust your position accordingly to the situation. So although I am positioned on the right, there's no bus coming and I'm not affecting anybody, that is absolutely fine. But the moment you see any big vehicle or anything like that, so as you're positioning yourself, make sure you are taking the other factors into consideration. There's a box junction ahead of me, so because I'm turning right, remember the box junction rule: when you're turning right, you may enter the box junction and wait until your path is clear. If your signal cancels here, put your signal back on and get into the middle of this road and wait until your path becomes clear. Now this guy's turning his right, so I'm going to take that opportunity to take the turn. There are on the left you will see Harris Academy, the school, and you will see a zebra crossing in front of you. If anybody's doing the 312 test during the school time, then this road that we're doing, it's really busy, and you should take into consideration your surrounding as you do this. Now ahead of us we are going to be approaching a roundabout. Now at this roundabout you will find it's a roundabout, it's a 4-exit roundabout, and the examiner could say along the lines, I would like you to follow the road ahead, second exit. Now remember, the view on the right is quite blind and quite obscured, so therefore I would recommend that you come to a gentle pause here, drop it into first gear. As your view opens and there's no cars, you take the turn. Check your left mirror before the left signal. There's the 20-mile limit sign. So remember, this bit of Pollards Hill, all of it is 20 miles an hour. I had previously a student that actually failed on this route because they did 26 following a van, and the examiner said that you were too excessive over the speed limit. A few miles I'm sure won't be an issue, but he was too much near the 30 rather than the 20, and I think that's why he got a fail for speeding. So down here, just 20 miles an hour, checking your mirror, left mirror, right mirror accordingly. You're going to get a bus stand on the left, so you just go past them if it's safe to do so. Maintain your 20 mile here. Not really much else happening. You might see a few other learners here. This side of Pollards here is quite popular with learners because the roads are quiet, but you've got to make sure you're maintaining your 20 miles an hour. As you get to the bend ahead of us, there is a sign saying that once you pass the bend, it is now a 30 mile an hour. Now this bend is very sharp, and remember, this is also a test route, so it's a bus route, so quite a big buses come around the turn here, so make sure that you're factoring that into your planning for the turn. So here, because it's a 30 mile limit now, I'm gone to third gear and I'm going to make progress, doing 25 plus. So there's a bus coming now, checking my left mirror, edging the car forward, checking my right mirror, no one there, making progress. There could be a car coming out, and I'm just making my progress through this road. You'll get a little bit of meeting situation ahead of you, so it'll be a good idea to drop a gear into second and then think how you can meet these cars coming. So I'm going to be the one that gives way. I'm going to leave about a car length away from the car in front, checking my center mirror and then making progress. So there's another vehicle that obviously again I'm going to stop for it because it's easier for me to do so, and there's no space on their side, and I will let the car pass. Check my right mirror, there is a motorcyclist behind me, so he's being good and not overtaking, but bear that in mind. Pedestrian has just crossed, so that's fine. Now at the end of this road, the examiner will say turn left. Remember, you've got a stop sign. Now, a stop sign means you must stop here regardless of whether the road is empty or not. So you've got to stop at the end. We're going to have to do that anyway because there's traffic, but just at night time. And then I'm going to edge forward, and then I'm going to come to another stop again. I'm going to wait for the traffic to allow me to pass through, and then take the turn accordingly. As you turn, remember there is a pedestrian crossing, and that might turn. So I've got a pedestrian in front of me. I'm just holding back, and that allows the pedestrian to actually cross. But remember, I have not beckoned the pedestrian to cross here, so therefore there is no issues in doing that. As I go here, I'm going to make a point of reference. Recently a person failed for beckoning, according to the examiner, the pedestrians to cross. Now, you must never beckon pedestrians to cross, and if a pedestrian is waiting for you to take the turn, and if it's safe to do so, you need to make the call and actually take that turn, so that because the traffic behind you are waiting for you to turn, and if you don't turn, then in the scenario that I'm referring to, the people behind the learner actually decided to overtake him, and that became a foul. So here we're going to take the next road on the right. So center, right mirror, there's my right signal. There's a dedicated right turn box, so I'm going to enter there, and the road that we're talking about is called Erdeline Road Avenue. So we're turning into that road, and that's where the situation that I was talking about happened. The rest of the route is just the same, a few meeting roads and doing maneuvers and so forth. So I don't think I need to go through all of it. It's not a hard route. It's a fairly easy route that one can easily do. There's just one bit that I'm going to actually continue recording. The road is actually within the test route. It's basically a one-way road. Now, a lot of people forget when they're going on a one-way road, they need to position on the right-hand side when you're coming out of the road if the examiner asks you to turn right. So just this morning I did a lesson where I did this road, and I asked my student at the end of the road, can you turn right? They positioned more towards the left because they forgot that it was a one-way road, and therefore if there was a car behind the student and if the other person wanting to turn left, then obviously you would have affected the other road users' progress, and that could be a possible fail. So we're just driving up towards there. End of this road, you're going to turn left. So it's just a few small side roads that examiners will make you do. They could periodically get you to pull up to see how you handle meeting situation. So just looking on both sides, there's a little opening now, and I'm going to take that. As I get through here, I'm looking for potential gaps for me to filter inside, so that I don't affect the progress of others. Now, I would like you to take the next road on the right, so center, right mirror, right signal, and then you're going to turn right here. Remember, make sure you don't cut the corner, so take the turn so that you end up within your lane and not on the other side. Admittedly, it's easier going on the other side, but it's dangerous and you could fail. We're going to turn left. So this is the road that I was referring to. It's a one-way road. So as I turn in there, I can see the sign. It's a little bit hidden, admittedly, but on the floor you will see it's got the arrow pointing upwards, and that can only mean one thing, that it's a one-way road where you've got, and if you look at the parked cars, that's a giveaway as well. Everyone's facing in the same direction. So at the end of this road, I would like us to turn right. So center, right mirror, right signal, position yourself as far to the right as possible unless there's a parked vehicle, but they won't be at the end because it will be a double yellow line. And I am turning right, the car beside me is turning left, so therefore another car cannot, I'm not affecting another car. The reason why I had a little loss of concentration there, another car almost decided to turn into a no entry road. She didn't realize, but because of my position, she realized that, hang on, where she's going is wrong. So yeah, that was the little loss for words as such, because it was quite a dangerous situation. So yeah, that was that part, and the rest you've obviously seen in my previous videos. So for now, I'll conclude here. Until next time, thanks for watching and take care.